Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Captain America: Brave New World, the 35th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It feels like just yesterday this franchise kicked off with 2008's Iron Man. But as the empire of the MCU was building up, it all came crumbling down after the release of Spider-Man Far From Home, which is the actual movie that is the conclusion of Phase 3. A lot of people think it's Endgame. No, Spider-Man Far From Home is the final film of Phase 3. And as you guys know, for me, that movie's a literal steaming pile of dog shit. So I know you guys have watched videos on this channel of all of us basically on the MSK show talk about this movie. So this movie was greenlit shortly after the conclusion of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the movie essentially was already supposed to come out back in 2024. But the more we found out about the movie is that it had already been completed, and it already had gotten a lot of test screenings. Those had failed. So essentially, this is what happened. It would get built up, finish, test screening, fail, build up, test screening, fail, build up, test screening, fail. I'm not kidding. It's the actual cycle of the movie. It had like 6 writers. I don't even remember the original director of this movie. I'm pretty sure even the director changed, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But it ended up going to a guy named Julius Onah or some shit who directed a Cloverfield Paradox movie or whatever. So the movie did end up finally coming out, and we are going to end up talking about it here. Now, since I am the Big Daddy Top G Riz Master, as you guys know, I love movies. I really do. And whenever I go and see a movie, I would not like a movie to be bad, because all of us here, we all have our personal lives. We are giving our hard-earned money to these movies, right? And if they're bad, it makes you feel worse because you've wasted time watching a bad product. Now, as I always say with movies, go and form your own opinion. Just say like Society does his review or Sci-Fax will do his. Doesn't matter what they say. Literally go and watch it for yourself. Now,
no, it always matters what I say.
That's true. And you know what's crazy? You might agree with them. They might be telling the truth, but you will at least be able to contribute to the conversation and understand where they're coming from, or you may yourself may disagree, but you may also understand why they didn't like certain parts. Always do this. I know a lot of people don't say these things. It's just something that I always say when I talk about movies. Go and watch it for yourself, form your own opinion. Who knows? You may end up liking it. I don't know who you are. Your taste might be different than mine. That's just how it is. But for me, myself personally, as you guys know, I did a spoiler-free review in my vlog. And I've been thinking about this movie for the past like day and a half, now 2 days when this video is getting released to you guys. This is a very weird movie to talk about, because I'm just speaking just for myself personally. I didn't hate myself after I watched this. Like, I watched Eternals and Far From Home and, well, the other bad MCU movies, actually. But I don't really feel like this is a needed movie to experience in the theaters, if that makes sense, right? You could literally wait to watch this when it drops on Disney Plus, maybe in like 3 weeks, right? Because these movies like will come out.
Do yourself a favor and don't see it at all. Like you'll be better off for it.
Like these movies come out, you know, at the theaters, and they basically go on streaming within like a month. Now, there are some things that I liked. Some things, but most of it feels very odd for a movie. So what's the best way of talking about this movie? So essentially, you know how people kept saying this is a Captain America movie without Captain America? That's even more true, but in a different way. This actually feels like a Hulk movie script they couldn't do for a Hulk movie because Universal Studios owns the rights to the Incredible Hulk, but they just have Captain America here. And now you don't have Steve Rogers as Captain America. It's Sam Wilson. And then not only is there not Captain America in the movie, this isn't even a Captain America movie just by even how they structured it. It just feels like a Hulk movie script that they couldn't do because they just don't own the rights to that character. That's just kind of how it felt to me. Now, if I'm going off with the best characters in the movie, I'm being honest here. Anthony Mackie, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a terrible person, but he did get...
He's kind of a dick.
He got completely destroyed by an 82-year-old Harrison Ford. People thought Harrison Ford was going to completely run it down. He didn't. He actually gave a pretty decent performance. I actually enjoyed his performance, honestly. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. How was Anthony Mackie, the new Captain America who's going to lead the Avengers, getting beaten by this 82-year-old guy? Like, how is that possible?
Let me ask you this question just real quick.
Yeah,
because had Jonathan Majors not, put hands on a woman in Brooklyn and lost his job, they were clearly at some point building up to an Avengers team led by a black man, leading up to a mostly black villain in Kane the Conqueror. So this whole thing, this movie was very much supposed to. Was very much black on black crime with Falcon and Kang. This is what this was all leading to here. So this is the direction that it was supposed to go before things fell apart.
Right. Mm. So the other thing to bring up with the movie is how weird it is structured. So I can understand why there's been reactions out there saying it's not that bad. And even for myself, I would probably have this middle of the pack, honestly.
I mean, guys, black on black violence, that doesn't exist out there. I don't know how they're going with this much fiction. Come on.
Black on black crime is a myth. I mean, you've heard from
right. Are you going to bring up all this fictional shit? We don't do that out here, guys.
Yes. So the thing I'll bring up here is, like I just said a second ago, I can understand why someone won't have this in their bottom 5 MCU movies, but I don't feel like it's anything higher than middle of the pack. For me, there's been worse MCU movies I've seen. That's true. I will fully agree with that. But this is also not better than the ones that I actually like. Not even close to like top 12. This is probably, because there's 35 films now, this one would probably be 20 to 25 in that range. Like, not the worst.
I'd say it's like really 28 to 35, somewhere there. And I'd have to go over all of my list with it to really start ranking it. But it's, for me, it's one of the most, it's the most dull. It's one of the most boring. It doesn't justify the character's existence and the way that it goes about it. And the other big thing, as bad as so many Marvel villains are, they sometimes at least go out in like a decent fashion. Sometimes even the this one, they all literally kind of just get talked down. Like, they're all just like, hey, can you not? And people are like, okay, yeah, I guess I won't now, or whatever. Like, you might as well just look at it like that. Like, sure, it's a little different than that. But I mean, if you really think about it, it's like none of them actually go all out. They all just get talked to. One guy just freaking, I mean, obviously we're doing spoilers, but the leader, he just comes up and he's like, he says some stuff, and his superpower is just like really shitty. No, it's not even mind control. Like, sure, he knows how to do that. Sure, he plays the song or whatever. I guess that's kind of a power or whatever. But he just activates people like the super soldiers, or like how they did with Bucky. But really, it's like he's just like a kind of just a slightly better than most people, like sports better. Like, he's just like, I got like 87% chance I'm going to win this. And you're like, what the fuck kind of odds are that? Like, well, how is that your superpower? Just like,
because I wanted to
slightly okay gambler. Like, I'm better than most people at gambling. That's your power. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So for me, he actually could have been probably one of the more better MCU villains had he just had something better to work with, because there was something there with him you could have made good. The problem here was that it was just executed not good, because it had this like weird reveal of like, oh, I'm the guy that's been doing it all. Guys, I'm saying that can work as applied. It's happened in like 1,000 movies. That's been a thing. But the execution of it was just all bad, because this is something that Marvel movies constantly do. And I've talked about this for like a long time. The most recent examples, Thor: Love and Thunder and Eternals. Thor: Love and Thunder, for example, Gore the God Butcher. When it's revealed that the gods in that one scene, the way they were talking to Thor, it's revealed that Gore's not wrong. These gods are pieces of shit, and it's kind of reasonable he would probably want to off them. Now, that is wrong to do. I'm not debating that. The problem here is that you have scenes in recent Marvel movies that completely contradict or even just downplay why a villain's a villain. They should be being a villain because they truly feel wronged in the world. Now they have villains where they're not just the person that's wrong, they're right. Like, let's be honest here. In the movie, the leader probably has a decent idea about why he doesn't like Harris, like Thaddeus Ross, because he actually kept him in a cell and then said he was going to get him out and became president and forgot about him and just used him. Like, is he wrong? I mean, like that's why I hate recent
Well, I
MCU
mean,
villains. With
like
a
law
lot of them have
enforcement
that.
stuff
Eternals
kind of
has
does
that.
that. They're like, sure, we'll get you out of here, even
Yeah,
though you were doing this most heinous bullshit. Of
yeah.
course, they're not getting. They're going to tell you what you want to hear to keep you in
Oh
there.
yeah.
I guess sure you would be mad about that, but it's like the justification
Because
for
this has been
keeping
a
you in
trend in a
there is
lot of the MCU
still
movies.
legit. It's not
A
like
lot
that
of them
goes
have
away
this.
because I was
Yeah,
oh willfully go to this. No,
yeah.
no, shut the fuck up. You were still being a terrible fucking person.
Yeah, man, in recent MCU movies, they keep doing that. Thor, Eternals, oh my god, Shang-Chi did it. Shang-Chi, his fucking dad knows his mom is dead. He literally sees her dead body on the ground and then believes she's talking to him. How? How in the world would that even be a possible thing? This guy's a fucking gang leader. He's supposed to be smarter than that. But just nevertheless, so that's my problem with like the leader could have been something decent, but the execution pretty bad. We'll just the Red
Well, you
Hulk
also
stuff.
have to remember here too, just to be fair
Fine.
here, is that this movie was reshot a few times. So
Confused.
originally it was supposed to
You
be
can
Seth
see
Rollins.
the obvious cuts in it too, by the way. Like there's obvious like there you could see that they were clearly going with other like there's multiple kind of storylines that seem to be in the movie and they're not
Yeah.
it's not that they're resolved, it's just like the way that it interweaves into whatever stories other people had to fit into the
Mhm.
bullshit that they had there
Yeah.
doesn't work. And it's like it's very obvious where it's like, oh, that's
Mhm.
that doesn't make any sense. That shit went fucking sideways or whatever.
Especially the
And it does
action.
it
Action.
multiple times. Like,
Society. Yeah. What do you want to say?
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah,
Sorry.
remember Seth Rollins got cut from this movie. He was supposed to
He
play a bigger
was.
role in the whole Serpent Society, which is
Mhm.
ironic because his wife got cut out of the Eternals movie. So both Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch have both been cut out of Marvel movies in the last 5 years, which is kind of hilarious.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you have to keep in mind here too, the reason why this villain maybe not seems as fleshed out is that not only did they cut several key scenes revolving villains that they had already previously set up, you also have to remember going into this that the original runtime for this movie was supposed to be 2 hours and 40 minutes. That was the
Yep.
original runtime from the test screening that failed previously.
Many.
Knowing that they were going to end up losing their butts on this film, what they did is that they cut the movie from 240 down to under 2 hours because the only way that they can get more screens at the movie theater is that the movie is under 2 hours so they can buy more screens at the theater. So it's like God knows what got left on the cutting room floor that probably would have helped this film make a little bit more sense. But
Yeah.
because Disney was definitely trying to recoup that $400 million that they blew into the production of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And we can't throw away the obvious thing where like one of the obvious things anyways is obviously how the election went, right? Like whether people want to admit that or not, it's very obvious. Like
You can
he's
tell
supposed to be
this
like
little
he's
influence
supposed to
there.
be
Yeah.
Trump, whatever, and
A
they
white
thought like
man
Kamala
rampaging
was
through the
gonna
White
win.
House.
And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, look how bad he is. He's so bad that he rages out and becomes the Hulk. And it's like, okay, and there's obvious stuff there. I thought it was gonna be toned down a little bit, but no, there's a lot of it that they let ride into it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you can see where they were probably trying to go with it, and I don't even think that movie would have worked. Like the stuff that's obviously been messed with or whatever, I don't think that
Yeah.
would have worked. There's just the cuts in it. The fights are bad because like the amount of cuts, like the amount of cuts in the fight
Especially in
scenes,
the
it's like
second half.
nobody's sitting there
When they're
selling
flying
anything.
around. Remember when they're flying on celestial items? Sorry. Remember when the
The
second
Celestial Island, yeah.
Yeah, the end of the second act where they're fighting when they're fighting Japan. Oh my god, the cuts were
Well,
so
and I
bad.
think that Japan was originally supposed to be China, like, and they obviously can't do that because, well,
That would cause some
can't
problems.
sell to China if we're fighting China.
Yeah. So let's go. So let's start here. We got our general thoughts out. Let's start from the top. With every movie, characters matter. I'll say that Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, not really leading guy material. This was his
Dude,
big coming out party for Captain America to show people I can do it. I have doubters. I can do it. It's not that he's horrible. It's just not. He just has no charisma. He has no leading man material. I just don't buy him. When
There's
he's
no
sidekick, it's
the
cool.
word you're looking for is gravitas. He has no gravitas.
Right. When he's
he has
Falcon, he
nothing.
has gravitas. It's crazy. He had more gravitas as Falcon than Captain America. It's almost as if like he's not Captain America.
Well, he's good as like a side character who has a
Right.
couple lines, and when he comes in, you're like, hey, these lines make sense to the character that he's
So you
talking
want
to.
to sideline the black man to the white man.
I really don't give a
But
shit.
that was like
about
the whole context of that scene. He walks in there, then Harrison Ford tells him, "It's like you're not Steve Rogers," and he looks at him like, "You crack ass honky motherfucker!"
No,
Here,
he
you
should
not
have just
dead."
told him. No, he should have just told him. Well, you're not Clarence. He should. Oh man, he had.
Yeah.
Because how is Clarence Captain America?
Yeah, it's
Really?
like he just busts
Fuck,
out a
man.
mic and just drops it. Like, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah. So like the scene gets set up. Yeah. So the scene gets set up. He's like, "Well, you're not. Well, you're not William Hurt. Well, you're not. Well, your name's Clarence." Mic drop. Could have had the greatest scene there, but. I just another pet peeve of mine, because as you guys know, I do read comics, so I have a little bit of knowledge of his comic appearances. That suit that he wears, the original one, I like that one way more. That actually might be one of the most comic accurate suits for a superhero movie. It looks very on point. It's pretty comic accurate right there. Why did he swap his better looking suit for that uglier one? It just made no sense, because usually when like a superhero swaps a suit, it's like, oh, well, this one's more powerful, this one's more durable. Swapping them made no sense. It made no reason to do it.
So one of the reasons, and I saw him, he made like an interview about this, because the original suit, like from the Captain Falcon and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that TV show. Yeah, I keep wanting to say mix them both, whatever. But he has like the that neck kind of guard around there, and he was like, "Dude, you can't move in that." He was really pissed about not being like, it was almost like the old Batman suit, where it's like
you can't move your neck,
you're stiff, like and it's like, I don't want to be doing fight scenes with, and I was like, I think that's totally reasonable.
Fair, understandable.
For stuff like that, it's like, hey, we got to change this up.
Literally, all they do is just make sure he can move his neck. That suit, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't like that suit at all. Anyways, like whatever. He's an amalgamation of like so many different concepts of other characters. So he has the Falcon wings. He kind of has like a wannabe fucking Captain America suit. He has like an Ant-Man helmet. He has like, it's a mixture of all the different kind of characters in some way, and it's just like, dude, you're not, even your suit is not original. Like, you have to be a goulash of all the characters around you to be relevant. It's like, everybody already liked you as Falcon, man. Like, why are they doing this? I thought it was that was just for me. I don't like the new suit. I think it's uglier. I like the other suit better. It looks better you just side by side comparison. It just looked better. Also, the new Falcon guy, I get it. They're trying to replicate Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie. I get it. I get the idea behind it, but it's just not. It's not the same. It doesn't feel. I
don't think it worked.
It just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I didn't like the character, the actor, like
Danny Ramirez. Yeah, like he was trying to be like a little more. What's the word for it? Because I don't want to say gay, because he didn't come off gay. He seemed like bouncy or something. You know, he's just like, I'm having a good time, like almost like, you know, like a joke on a Latin people, where he's just like, I'm fun Hispanic guy or whatever. And you're like, saying he came off like a taco?
Jesus Christ. No, he came off of like a flamboyant gay guy or flamboyant Hispanic, but like, he's not gay. It was just like the way that they portrayed the character, I didn't really care for.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have enough scenes in it to where you get like a connection between the two people, you know, or like maybe even a backstory, or even do a shot where it's like, oh, this guy helped me during the war, or during a war that we were fighting, and just like, he comes over and helps save me. Something. He's just a giddy like person who's in the back room, who's just like, oh, I get to go put on the suit. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, that's all this character kind of was.
He's lacking that whole sidekick cool factor to him. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like when Sam on Falcon, or Sam on Captain America type of stuff. It was just like, okay, this guy's still, you know, Sam's a badass soldier, and, you know, he's top of the food chain there type of deal. But then it's like, well, he still respects Captain America for being that much. He's like, dude, he even says it. He's like, I do everything that he does, just slower. You know, it's like he has scenes in moments like that where you're like, okay, cool. He at least understands where you can understand where he's coming from. He's like, I'm the best of the best, but that guy still has me beat. Like, you don't get scenes like that with this guy, and they kind of need something like that to establish that kind of chemistry, and they didn't give it to him.
For Thaddeus Ross, I would say he's the most layered character in the movie. Feels like he actually has some character development there. He has some growth. Because with Sam, I really felt like by the end of the movie, why didn't they just keep Bucky? Like, literally, if they just continued that relationship from Falcon and Winter Soldier here, it would be a lot more believable, because Sam and Bucky's relationship better than I do like
because he's
this
white.
Right. Damn.
That's what that's what it felt like, man.
They just literally swapped out the two actors with a better chemistry for the actor without better chemistry. I literally don't get it. And they only shared like a phone call in Falcon and Winter Soldier, a literal phone call in a battle scene in episode 1 of that show. Crazy shit here. So also say this, the surprise there, Bucky does make a cameo in the movie toward the beginning of the third act.
Yeah, to establish he's running as some type of governor or senator or some shit. Like he's working his way through American politics. That's kind of like his cameo, is to show that he's somehow establishing himself in American politics.
I'm calling it out right now. There was a deep fake in this movie. They'll never admit to it. That Betty scene, I don't know if that was real. That shit felt so fake. I didn't even see her lips move when I was watching it. That shit looked so fake. I don't even know she was there. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. If they debunk me, great. But I did not feel like she was there. Those are only 2 surprises in the movie. Also, because I know a lot of people like the MCU movies because the end credit scenes. There's one post credit scene, and it's not worth watching because it's generic.
It's stupid.
It's completely generic, like villain hero dialogue, where it's like, well, you know, something bigger's coming. Literally, that's all it is. You do not have to.
It's literally a ripoff from like one of those CW shows that kind of did the same thing with like a character, you know, trying to say that, you know, something big is coming. I mean, they do that kind of all the time with a lot of shows, but they usually do it in TV, not on movies.
Yeah,
like sometimes they hint towards it in movies, and then it never comes to fruition.
For TV, it's better because you can tease toward a longer build-up.
Yeah, it's like next season, bam. It's like next movie. You're like, well, the next movie is Thunderbolts, and then the next movie is Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four, if it's done right, is actually going to reset all this bullshit anyways. If they do it right, which they're probably not going to do it right, but if they're smart about it, they can find a way to somehow restart everything that's going on here. And with the introduction of adamantium, I think that's the only big thing in this movie that gets introduced.
That was one thing
that should be a big thing to go forward, is that the introduction of adamantium is like, you know, obviously it's a hint towards X-Men, which everybody knows. Like, they just acquired the rights to X-Men like a year or 2 ago, or a couple of years ago. And that's a huge thing. Like, X-Men is very important for some of these storylines that they're kind of talking about, like the you know, Doomsday, or what's the other one, Secret Wars. It's like like X-Men are a huge part of that shit. Like, so they're introducing it.
So finally. The other thing here that I'll bring up with characters that a lot of people talked about. So let's start with, we'll do the black guys first, then we'll do that girl. Isaiah Bradley's character. I'll be honest here. It's not that he did a bad job, everyone. It's not like everyone here. I don't feel like everyone phoned it in.
It's not that he did a bad job. The question is, why should I care?
Yeah. Why should I care? Yeah.
I don't feel like any of these people like phoned in their acting. Like, I think the acting overall was.
Yeah. For the woman we're going to get, the girl, I'll tell her right now.
I would say the girl, the Israeli girl, was like,
so we'll do
she did not need to be there.
I want to do Giancarlo Esposito, as you guys know, great, terrific actor, useless, wasted. He is literally just a ghetto Winter Soldier. Literally, in the movie, he does every single thing Bucky did in Winter Soldier. Stalks his prey out, blows the car up. He doesn't know where he went. He literally is just Bucky, except that's not his character. He's like, what's character Sniper, but you guys know what I'm saying. That's why the movie feels like it's just a bootleg Winter Soldier with a Civil War level aspect to it. You know,
not only is his suit amalgamation of everything, but his character, like all the characters in his own movie, are amalgamations of everything else. It's just it's a hodgepodge of all this bullshit.
Well, that's the other big
it's our own movie. It's not.
You know, you're trying to do the government has been compromised type storyline when we just did this 11 years ago, Winter Soldier, and it was done much better then. So it's like, why would you try to
read that plot? Remember? Because as you guys know, in the trailers, because me and Society always talk about this when I go on his show, I hate when movies put out trailers and they drop the entire movie in the trailer. I'll be honest with you guys. If you watch the trailers for this movie, you've seen the whole movie. I shit you not. Everything's in the trailer is in this movie, obviously, right? But
so here's an argument here, right? Yeah, because people were making this about the reveal of Red Hulk, and spoiler, he's in the movie, but they showed you that in all the promotion, right? Right. This is a film that was originally supposed to be released last May, and then it got pushed back due to the reshoots. Then remember, they were supposed to do a promotion with McDonald's that showed all the characters in the film that told everyone, hey, by the way, Red Hulk is in the movie. So when you're watching this film, it's all leading up to Harrison Ford teasing that, oh, all of a sudden, boom, he's Red Hulk. It's like, oh, what happened? How did he turn red? It's like, but everyone knows by now that he's going to be Red Hulk because that's all people over the course of the last year. So it's not even a surprise. You're building it up to be a surprise that the audience already knows about.
People have been theorizing that since like the Incredible Hulk movie back in 2008 that he would turn into that. That's not a new thing. It's one of those things where it's a reveal that also was misplaced in the movie too. That's why the trailers for this movie did it such a disservice. So I'm glad you brought up the whole political thriller aspect. So let's go for that. The trailers for this movie reveal everything. You've seen the whole movie in the trailers, which is already a negative knock on it. Two, the whole like, I actually didn't mind the first trailer where he said your inner circle's been compromised. It felt like it was going to be Winter Soldier-esque, which is what the producers kept saying it was going to be Winter Soldier-esque, right? But then that plot gets thrown away anyway. So they want it to be Winter Soldier, but then they want it to be like Civil War. You can tell the reason. You can tell there's many different versions of scripts here. One was a Hulk movie, one was a political thriller, and one was more of an action adventure
this
movie.
Is what happens when you chop up a movie multiple times, is that you leave certain things in there that either relates to a plot line that you already taken out of the movie, or something that, you know, a scene that's introduced is supposed to lead up to something that we never see because you cut that whole part out. So part of doing these type of things is that you have to kind of pay attention to the flow and even the little details of the film, because you're going to end up leaving something in there that either doesn't make sense or would have made sense had something else had stayed in the movie. And because they didn't do their due diligence with this film, it's getting to the point now where it's just like they probably would have just been better off moving forward with the first cut of the movie that failed in its test screening, because they've spent $200 million trying to. No, the first failed.
Do you remember that one? The synopsis about it. It was more the political thriller one, right? That people called Boring.
Yeah, that was like I said, when they had like Seth Rollins and all the Serpent Society guys that were in the movie. So that was supposed to be more the focus. But then when they failed the test screening, they started changing a whole bunch of things up. And honestly, you were probably better off with the first cut of this movie rather than all the other
ones. It would flow better. The movie just.
Can we talk about that fucking awful CGI with the Red Hulk stuff?
Yeah. Before we do that, we'll go on. Before we do that, we'll do the girl. That girl that is a widow. Literally, this is why the movie is. I'll just tie in 2 points here. This is the reason why the movie has problems. They do this thing where they over-explain everything. The exposition is boring and it's just constantly explained. One part of the movie,
expedition dumps. There's like 3 or 4 of them in this movie.
Yeah, it's revealed she's a widow.
Bam.
It's revealed, she's a widow. Oh, okay. So like Yelena.
Yeah, they don't say she's superpowered either. Like if they would have said like, oh, she has the serum. That would actually literally, that one sentence could explain so much of the shit that she does.
You're just supposed to believe that this 4'11" tiny little Israeli girl
from Israel,
who despite being 30, it looks like she's 14 throughout the course of the entire movie, and everyone in the movie is like 14. Yeah, and everyone in the movie is like 4 times her size, which
everyone's
makes it even more
4 times her size. Yeah. So this lady who is a widow, because it's such a throwaway, useless line there. Because like you're thinking like, oh, Yelena, Black, okay, the cool ones, right? No, she, first of all, her acting performance is straight up running it down. She didn't even try. She can't emote. She can't actually say lines. And she's a terrible, who is that? Maybe I'm just judging her too much off this performance. She completely turbo sprinted that shit. She was just there for a paycheck. Useless character. That's nothing to do.
It's hard.
She could literally not be there, and they're gonna replace her with like Yelena, and it would make no difference, honestly.
Again, it's hard for me. That was like a 12 to 14-year-old child. I would believe you. I'd be like, okay.
So here's the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
The actress here, her name is Shara Haas, and she's like an Israeli actress there. So this is one of the big plot points that was dropped in the later cuts, because she's supposed to be an agent for Mossad, right? That was like the whole big angle here. It's supposed to be about international politics, and Israel's supposed to play a role in this. And then, of course, when the whole Israel-Palestine thing kicked up, they decided, okay, let's just silently drop that because we don't need any heat from the Palestine people because they're angry at the Israeli actress. This actress, who apparently has been nominated for Emmys for some show called Unorthodox, which is some show that I've never heard of. It's on Netflix or something like that, right? Apparently she suffered from kidney cancer at a young age, so dealing with the effects of the kidney cancer stunted her growth. So she's like a cancer survivor from like the age of 4 or some shit.
Ooh. Which, hey, you know what, good for her on that. Doesn't mean you need to be acting in an action film. I'm sorry.
But so as a result of that, obviously she's like 5 feet tall. Even though she's almost 30 years old, like I said, she looks half her age. And I'm not saying that she's a bad actress, but she's so horrendously
She was bad
miscast
here.
in this role because no one believes her as like a quote unquote a Black Widow. Like I hate to throw
Like
this out
Anthony
here, but
Mackie, I don't even think is 6 foot tall. And there's a scene where it's like him, somebody else, and I want to say her in like an elevator. And the shot that they're able to get is like her head is barely above the bottom of the screen, and that's how like the height differences are that dramatic. And these people are barely like 5'9", 5'10", maybe at best, or whatever. And she's 4'11" or some shit. You know, it's like what the and then you see her like kick the shit out of some like 250-pound dudes. I'm like, dude, I'm like 215, 6 foot, and I would I don't know. I would launch her across the goddamn room. Like it'd be no problem for me.
Like
I shoulder tackled her, she probably wouldn't get back up.
Keep in mind of the movie, Sam and the other Taco Falcon dude, the new guy, they're struggling to fight these trained soldiers.
Sam and Taco Rivera, right? Got it.
Yeah, like they're struggling to fight these fucking big ass dudes. Like they need like batons to knock them out. This girl walking up doing that spin shit that Black Widow does. Come on, she's half of Scarlett Johansson's size too. It's more believable like Scarlett does it because you get these taller, right? The small girls doing that. We're freaking her. You fucking believe she can choke them out? Really?
Like you don't have like the force or the momentum to like literally do like a hurricanrana to like 80 guys four times your size.
Dude,
like,
I've said this before with like when it comes to female like action stuff, it's such an easy fix. Give them like instead of brass knuckles, give them like taser knuckles. Just do it. Give them something like that, and it would solve so many questions.
Here's the problem here. It's like they try to ignore the size difference in hand-to-hand combat with these type of scenes. This is where I was linking it to. Imagine Rey Mysterio. Now, Rey Mysterio in real life is like 5'3", but he's a small guy, but he's been wrestling for years and years, and right? But the way that he fights, the way he starts, he always fights from underneath, which means that he knows that he's smaller than everyone he goes up in the ring against, but he fights from underneath. So he's quick. He uses, his speed to get around people. He'll cut you down at the legs and then try to get an advantage like over you. He's not just going to sit there and pretend like, he's John Claude Van Damme and just like kick you like a hand-to-hand combat, because it's going to look ridiculous to people who see that. So I don't know who's the stunt choreographer here, but if you're going to do a scene like that, you have to set it up in a way to where the fight actually comes off as believable, not just yes, queen, slay, girl power. That doesn't work here. Well, and here's another thing I just want to throw out here just real quick. And here's a name that's kind of the obvious elephant in the room, Gal Gadot. How much more believable would this role be if Gal Gadot played this woman?
Or just how it's edited. Come on, guys. I want to throw
back to we know she has superpowers, though. That's the other thing. Like,
I'll even throw it back to a past MCU movie. A past MCU movie with Joss Whedon. The Avengers. What's the second scene after the whole Loki shit? Black Widow chained to a chair. She beats them by using the chair to knock them out. Obviously, getting hit with the chair is pretty hurt, right? There's a reason why some of this stuff can come off more believable than others. Joss Whedon had a Black Widow use her athleticism to hit a motherfucker with a chair, which would definitely knock them out. Whereas you have
in that scene, like it shows her using her like intellect, which is why she's a Black Widow. She's supposed to be able to infiltrate these type of things. It doesn't mean you're just the outstanding fighter. You're also smart. Like
If this 4'11" girl hit a 250-pound man in the head with a sledgehammer, that seems pretty believable that he would be knocked out by that.
Yeah, it's pretty believable. Yeah, but also the thing is,
remember, if a sledgehammer weighed 14 pounds because she's or something.
Okay.
Like, Jesus.
Or is it made of styrofoam or some shit?
Yeah, she's not swinging, dude. I've broken many of concrete with a sledgehammer, and I've done it for hours.
Well,
I would love to see a girl that size swing a hammer like I can.
You work for a living.
It's not happening.
You're white and you work. That's crazy. I thought you guys were all just hating Black people, but nevertheless. So that's the reason why
there's many hammers too. So I mean, there's that.
That's the reason why
I can do both. That's how I'm on this stream. No.
Good God, man. That's the reason why Joss Whedon making a believable Black Widow is different from Julius Owen doing it. Okay, so he want to talk about CGI. For me, it was only really a problem with the Red Hulk. It was just it looked very jarring. That's the best way of putting it. The CGI most of the time was not great, and the Red Hulk made it really stand out. I was like, okay, this is just ugly. This is just not appealing looking. There's no way a movie from 2008 in 2003 Incredible Hulk movie could have better CGI than a 2025 movie. That is unacceptable.
Yeah, like when he first becomes Red Hulk, and it's like
Right.
the stuff you've seen in the trailers, it's like, okay, that looks good. And then when the fights start happening, it kind of looks like when you maybe like make some of your, or I'm sure we all do this, when you make your thumbnails and it's like layered, it's like
Yeah.
that layered effect. It
Yeah.
was like there was weird layering going on there that is ridiculously obvious, where I'm like, holy shit, dude, I suck at all this stuff. I suck at making
I forgot a
thumbnails
lot
and
more
doing
things
all
too.
this stuff.
You're actually trash.
Sure, why not?
But
Yeah, my content's awful, but
yeah.
you know what? I do it and I realize like, oh, that doesn't look good, but doesn't matter. Who cares? Why is this multi-billion-dollar company not able to do better than what the fuck? I feel like I can almost pull off some shit like that, and for one, I actually can't. But why do I feel like I can? I shouldn't feel like I should be able to do that. I should be able to look at this and be like, that's a feat. Like, that is awesome. No. And they only have 5 minutes of the guy in the goddamn movie.
Yeah,
and
Red Hulk, the biggest reveal is only there for like 5 minutes. What in the world? Maybe
like
less, for being
2 to 3 minutes of it is awful CGI. Like,
yeah.
Where
Juan
did
Carlo
your
Escudillo is also only in the movie for like 5 minutes combined too.
Right? Yeah.
True, but he doesn't need CGI on him. Like,
he's just a black guy.
If your big reveal of the Hulk, and we already know he's going to be there, at least focus on that to make that at least look
that's
good
what I'm saying.
while
It's
we're seeing it.
That's why, like, that's my biggest problem with the movie is that the acts are all jumbled. I think Act 2 should have been Act 3, and Act 3 should be Act 2, because so like people have a problem with the MCU when it comes to stakes. What's bigger stakes? Red Thaddeus Ross turning into the Red Hulk on a cruise ship where everyone's at, blowing it up, and then fighting in obviously Celestial Island versus like transforming into the what?
They go from the Celestial Island to basically right back to the White House. It's just like boom, snap, we're back here now.
If you watch the movie,
and now he's giving a little speech.
Yeah.
Maybe not switched, but maybe switched. And then
the
ending fight scene should have been on like inside of the Celestial. Like they're all in there trying to find something in there.
Oh yeah.
And now they're having a fight in there to get to something big. Like, oh, here's the big deposit of adamantium. There's actually something cooler than adamantium in here. Blah blah blah. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's something worth actually fighting over, and it's like.
They had the stakes there. Oh, the Red Hulk could just transform right now on the submarine where everyone's at.
The other thing that I don't think they're willing to do, and when I heard about the whole like adamantium inside of the Celestial thing, it's like I don't think they've actually acknowledged other places having superheroes. So it's like, who other than technically the US right now in the MCU has people who could actually even harvest that kind of material?
Right.
It's like, where's your superheroes? Japan or China or whatever countries are trying to get out here, because clearly they have them. I mean, you have people like the Red Guardian or whatever is the only one, or there's few characters like that who are like, maybe they could actually harvest this stuff. Like, how are you harvesting this stuff? You don't even have the capacity. We have all the superheroes in this world as it stands, like, show us some of them, bring in a superhero. That would have been cool. Like when they're doing that big fight and all of a sudden we get a Japanese superhero. I don't know who it would be, but it's like, hey, this guy can do it or whatever. That would have been cool.
Wang Chinese superhero. But
I don't know who, but it's like, come on, like give us other people. Because right now that's my problem for me. It's just for me that Act 2 and 3 should be swapped. I mean, the fight scene in the air was all just choppy and sloppy. I didn't mind the action in the first act when he first started battling the guys. I thought that was okay. People said the movie has great action. I think it has decent action. At best, you can call it decent. It's not great. I don't even think it's good. It's the cuts in it and stuff. When it has that many cuts into the action, it shows how sloppy it is to me. Like, you can't get into it. There's no wide shots. There's no, you're not seeing people actually like get like down and dirty or whatever, like do a bunch of blocks. It's just like cut. Somebody does something kind of big, whatever, and then it just cuts to another. It's just there's too many cuts for it to. Yes, too many cuts to make it cohesive to where I'm like, you almost don't understand what's going on. Like, sure, you know what's going on, ish, but it's like also, it looks better when you can have the longer scenes going on.
Also, when I was watching the movie, you know, a lot of people have different feelings when watching a movie. I wouldn't say I was overly bored, but I wasn't saying I was overly happy. Like toward the end of the second act, I was like, "Can we wrap this up?" This movie's
I was zoning out.
Long. Yeah. By the end of the second act, I was like, "Can we speed up?" Like the movie's 2 hours long. Literally, the movie would feel better maybe if it was an hour and 30 minutes. This is 2 hours of this bullshit we're going through here. 2 hours. I was like, "Damn, could this be over?"
Well, it's like there's the out of theater review I did with DA, and we talked about it.
On another black man's channel. Okay.
Yeah, and then I did a review on it as well.
More shameless plugging for a white man. Cool.
Of course. I mean, if I'm going to be on here clout chasing, I might as well, throw out my goddamn channel. You would think I should shout myself out if I'm going to be on here clout chasing, as you say.
As you know, you're Falcon. I'm Captain America. We know who's the top G in the relationship here.
Sure. So as MSK tries to steal my white privilege, I'm going to keep saying no.
Yeah, so the other things, the other smaller stuff, like, so people said score. Guys, the score is bad. It's a non-existent score. There's no really score here. The music is bad.
There's nothing memorable about it. No.
Yeah, nothing. Like sometimes they do the dude, or even that sounded bad. The score is awful. The pacing could have been better. It wasn't awful. To be fair, I've seen worse, honestly, but it was. The longer it went, the more I got, I would say.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody made a good point where it was like, there's no superhero moment in this, where it's like, every movie just has that.
It feels like that one superhero moment. Boom,
it just comes in and it's like, or, Infinity War, like Thor comes down and he's just like, boom, blows everything up and he just comes out and he's like, "What's up? I'm here now." And you're like, God damn.
It feels like Sam Wilson's Captain America never had that.
Captain America grabs the hammer out of the air and people are just like,
yeah.
And those are obviously some of the bigger moments from Avengers movies and stuff. But each movie itself kind of has some moment like that in it. This movie, I can't. Yeah, it's like somebody's just like, they show up and you're like, "Oh shit, it's about to go down now." I can't really think of any moment in this movie that was the moment of, or like, especially. Definitely not for Captain America. It's like he doesn't show up and it's just like, If anything, it would be like his in the trailer when he lands and it's just like, wait for it, boom, and it explodes. And I'm like, well, that's the trailer.
Was
shot.
The ending supposed to be
that? And he does that within the first minute, and it shouldn't be. If he's going to do something like that, he should do it later on and maybe develop like a way to land and blast something even crazier later on. It's like, hey, let's set this up to where it's like, ooh, this is a cool movie he can do because he has the wings and he like powers up from getting hit by the Hulk a bunch and then comes slamming down and like gives all the power back from getting hit by the Hulk and then knocks him out. It would have been like, oh shit, that's what he can do. That's cool. They didn't even do something like that. He literally just like
I know you're saying.
The sun's going real low, big guy.
Talk no jutsu, man. I told you he's gonna do talk no jutsu.
So gay.
Yeah. So like essentially what you're saying is it's lacking that superhero-ness feel to it.
Yeah, there's no superhero moment in this at all where I'm like, these are superheroes other than
but you know how this movie's trying to be Winter Soldier? People say, well, where's that moment in Winter Soldier? Easy. The end of the movie, the third act, when Bucky's beating him, he's like, "I'm not gonna fight you anymore." Right there shows he's not going to fight his friend.
Not even that. It's like he has the scene where he's like grabbing the helicopter. He's just like,
that's what Civil War.
Shit like that. But that's Civil. Is that Civil War? I thought that was it.
Yeah, but it'll matter. This movie's trying to be both of them anyway.
I'm mixing them both up. Yeah.
So the other thing I'll bring up here, because a lot of people still use this argument for the MCU. They're like, well, it wasn't as bad. It's not a travesty because people are looking at it in this vein of like, well, it's not Endgame and it's not Infinity War. Okay, people, MCU fans, I know you listen to me. Please listen to this. Okay. Everyone knows going into Marvel movies, they're not going to always get Civil War or Infinity War. That is one of the gayest, stupidest narratives you keep spouting. I didn't go in here thinking I was going to get Infinity War because that would mean I would be getting a pretty decent movie. I knew I wasn't going to get that. So no one's going into these Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Eternals, Thor: Love and Thunder. No one's thinking they're going and watching Infinity War. No one's thinking that. But you still have to have a quality, decent movie. It's like that thing where people keep saying for the MCU, well, it's setting up everything. I don't give a rat's flying furry fuck. Do movies exist to set up stuff, or are they existing to make good movies? Keep in mind, you can do both. Previous good MCU movies did that, where they set up stuff and they had a good story about them. This, yeah, you could say, oh, it set up some stuff. Set up what? Adamantium? That, keep in mind, the Adamantium storyline you talked about earlier, I thought that was so stupid. Why was that here? It did nothing for the overall narrative. It was just stupid. It meant nothing.
It's kind of a throwaway thing. If anything, like, people who've been watching this for this long, it's like, we know that Captain America 4 is a restart. Even if you don't want to accept Sam Wilson as Captain America, it's
Which
like,
is what
okay,
your racists know for not accepting black guys. That's cool.
Sure, why not? Whatever. But it's like, if you're gonna sit there and accept it, well, make me believe it then. Okay, this movie is here to make me believe it, right? Make me believe that this guy is the new Captain America then. And I think on that front, this movie fails. Like, this movie does not make me believe that this guy could be Captain America. I don't overall mind Anthony Mackie. He's always just better as like a side hand character, and he was fine in this, but I don't feel like this movie really had much of a lead actor in it. You know what I mean? Other than like when Harrison Ford's on there, and he's just good on screen in general. But Anthony Mackie as Captain America, it doesn't come off as a lead. He doesn't come off as a leader. He just doesn't. He doesn't have that fucking that gravitas I was talking about earlier. He simply doesn't. I don't think I've seen him in anything that he can hold up on his own. Like, he's good in the stuff that he is in, but I've never seen him in anything that he is in that I'm like, dude, this was so good because Anthony Mackie's in it. It's like, this is just good overall because
he's a great supporting actor. He's not leading in.
Yep. Like, he's like, oh yeah, he's good second, maybe third billing, and that's it. Like,
yeah. So I'm gonna tag along to what you just said there, because that goes into the other point I'm gonna bring up here that I brought up a long time ago on my original big YouTube channel that YouTube may or may not have axed when I was famous. Same thing I said with Ant-Man and the Lost Quantumania. I'll just reiterate it here. I'll also reiterate from people that don't know me. Where is the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant for the MCU? It used to be RDJ. It used to be Chris Evans. Okay, they're gone. It was probably going to be Chadwick Boseman. He's dead. Rest in peace, right? Nobody here has RDJ or Chris Evans charisma, gravitas that you guys said. Not a single one of them.
The only one that has any of that left right now is Doctor Strange. Benedict
that's debatable too after that second movie.
That's debatable. Yeah.
No, but remember, before Jonathan Majors got popped, right, when Ant-Man and 3 came out, they were hyping him up as if he was going to be, this is our new Thanos right here. He's going to be the guy. So the people at Marvel Studios thought Jonathan Major was about to jump off as a megastar, that everyone was gonna go out there see Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and what was it supposed to be, the Kang Dynasty and all the other stuff. They thought he was going to be it out.
When you show your big bad get his ass whooped twice before he becomes the true big bad, socialist ants whooped his ass, and then he also got all his variants get their ass beat during the Loki stuff, and it's like so he's getting his ass beat in a TV show, and then he immediately the first showing on a movie he gets his ass beat by fucking ants, by Ant-Man, one of the people that almost is kind of a throwaway joke character in this version, of the MCU. Come on.
Yeah,
and now you're supposed to believe like, oh, he's the biggest threat out there. Thanos is out there just like delivering like a freaking philosophy, like he's delivering like fucking philosophy quotes where he's just like, it's like the balance is all things should be kind of thing or whatever. And it's like you got this guy out there just like
yelling.
Yeah, he's like, oh look, I got an arena of people that say
I got an arena of Kangs.
Yeah, it's like, look, we was Kangs out here. Look at this. We was Kangs.
This new big bad, because it's kind of subtly advanced.
We was Kangs.
We was Kangs.
Also, not even that. It was even revealed in Ant-Man 3 that, hey, that BBC was banging Wasp's mom. Yeah, so our big bad villain just bangs old ladies in other dimensions. Yeah, that's great. It's really, really great fucking thing.
Yeah, she was throwing it back
and
laying
pipe on Piper too, but or 5 for 2, but
Jonathan, 9 inches of meat inside of her quantum pussy.
Hank was worried about his wife this whole time. Didn't realize she was holding it out in microscopic universe.
Dude,
What did they
Kang's
do those
Kang's
lonely,
just mad. He's
sleepless
trying to
nights?
find. He's just trying to find
Oh,
the tip of his
and
dick
don't
he
let-
lost in fucking Ant-Man's mom or whoever that is.
And let's not forget that not only was Kang hitting it, but Bill Murray was hitting it too. So she was giving it to everybody.
Oh,
too.
God.
Wasp Mom's a horror. She was getting BBC'd out. She was like, well, you know, I'm
He's
probably
like,
not,
I don't
not
know.
ever-
I'm just seeing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out what that alien dick
I'm
like.
just trying to find my
Like,
way
what
back
up?
home.
Dude,
There was nights-
everyone but Hank was hitting Hank's wife, and then we wonder why he crashed out later on in the series.
Like, that's the thing is, she was there with that black guy for, they said, 30 some plus years. She was getting BBC'd out on the floor of that cave. Remember that cave and shit? She was getting blown, her back was getting blown the fuck out.
And then she admitted that, oh yeah, by the way, you know, I was sleeping with Bill Murray because, you know, I had needs too. So like
I
said,
had
she was-
needs. Oh,
she was
no.
giving it to everyone but Hank.
So yeah, that's kind of my overall point. Is there's no real leading guy here. I like Paul Rudd a lot. He's leading that material, but he's not leading Avengers material. And plus, you can have a team led by Ant-Man. Let's be honest here, that can't happen either. It's like they need a Michael Jordan, they need a Kobe Bryant, they need like a Patrick Mahomes, someone to lead the MCU into the next direction. Because like the Infinity Saga,
who's their Luka Doncic? Who's their Luka?
Chris Hemsworth. But look at what they've done with Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth could have been that.
Nah, he's not
can't.
Luka. He's more of Kevin Durant. Like, you know,
Don't say it.
he's aging out. Like, he's only got a couple of years left, and he's done. So
Hey, man,
it's like
we got John
just-
Walker. Oh,
He
shit,
makes a
no,
bunch of
no.
points, but nobody remembers him. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like even Nick Fury could be a leader of some sort. Samuel Jackson's barely in the MCU anymore. Like everything that led it to where it got right now to be 35 films deep, just like where Wasp Mom loves it. She loved it 9 inches deep inside her quantum realm pussy. There's nothing here to lead. Like, are we supposed to believe the Young Avengers, like Haley Steinfeld's character, like Kamala Khan's character? Oh, sorry, not come on, fucking hell. Iman Vellani's character, Miss Marvel, like. There's no lead here anymore. It just feels like a bunch of, not B-tier characters. It feels like a bunch of bench warmers trying to actually be the main stars. Like they don't have that main hero quality.
Mhm.
It's like if Gohan, because I always disagree with this. People say, well, Gohan's been the main character, Dragon Ball Z. No, he shouldn't have. He's not leading guy material. He's cool supporting character. He's cool like side character. But it'd be like if Gohan led Dragon Ball Z. Would you guys like that? He was like, I would have. No, you wouldn't. Vegeta could lead the show better. Trunks could lead the show better. And Goku leads the show better.
The MCU is currently the San Francisco 49ers. They were really good a couple of years ago, made it to a couple of Super Bowls, but they just went about 10-6 last season. You know, they got a couple of good players, but not good enough to actually beat some of the best teams. That's pretty much where they're at.
We're essentially watching Dragon Ball Z without Goku in it. And it's like, man, this is just not good. This is just bad, honestly. Like, I will say it's here. I'm still sticking by my opinion. I don't think it's the worst instant movie I've ever watched. I've watched way worse. Iron Man 3, Far From Home, The Eternals, The Dark World. Let's go with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Both sequels. That shit was trash. Both Ant-Man sequels are bad. Ant-Man and the Wasp stinks. And Ant-Man Quantumania is actual trash. Black Widow.
There's a top 10 worst MCUs. I think this is up there. This is in the
for me, no.
I think this is in the top 10 worst.
I've seen no. It's not worse than The Dark World. No way. No,
like I said, in the top 10, I don't know what number it would get. I would have to go and look at all of them again and try to reconsider.
Do you think this is better than Shang-Chi, or do you think Shang-Chi's better?
I think Shang-Chi at least had better action scenes.
Was kind of a better flowing narrative too. Yeah, Shang-Chi's better. Shang-Chi at least the problem with Shang-Chi is like it just kind of falls apart in that third act. But all right, so I think we went over everything we wanted to. Characters, story. Oh, the story. It's just disjointed because of all the script changes. It's trying to be a political thriller, then it's trying to be an adventure action movie.
Obvious script changes too. Like you can feel it while you're watching it. You're like,
the story just
that
feels
doesn't match
uneven.
up. Like what the fuck? Yeah.
Like everything that I liked in the first trailer just gets thrown away. It's like, well, your inner circle's been compromised. Well, it's like, okay, political thriller, go with that. They don't go with that. They go with some fucking crazy action adventure plot. What are you doing? That's the problem. It's like some of these superhero movies, not just this one. A lot of them have faults with this. They just lack a cohesive direction toward the end goal. This one is just kind of all. It's not that it's even all over the place. It's just meh. Like you don't care about some of the performances. The actual villains are just. I liked what could have been done with the leader, but just execution's bad. Honestly, that's pretty much it. It's one of those all the Donald Trump stuff. You could kind of tell they thought Kamala Harris was going to win the election. white man rages out at the White House, tearing down everything. Like, come on, guys. Come on, man.
You could tell on G20 they thought Kamala Harris was going to win the election because whoever greenlit that movie.
Oh, remember, what's the thing that Thaddeus Ross is talking about in this movie constantly? Unity. Guess what Donald Trump talks about a lot? Unity. Now, when Donald Trump's talking about it, he's talking about actually fixing America. The MCU's talking about destroying the White House in their Captain America Brave New World movie. They were making fun of Donald Trump here. That's just what I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Yeah, that's my opinion, honestly. But yeah, I would just call this aggressively mid. I'll be honest, I've literally seen worse MCU movies than this that I've despised and hated. But I wouldn't really call this great either. That's just where I'm landing on it. So we'll do our closing thoughts on this video talking about Captain America Brave New World. Also, society, black men first, because blacks over whites. What's your closing thoughts on this movie? Mid, bad? Where you at with it?
I give it a 1.5 out of 5. It's not the worst MCU film out there. Some people I think are overhyping it to make it seem like it's way bad. It's a bad movie, but it's like it's not the Marvel's bad.
No way, man.
It's not Eternals bad. It's not like Iron Man 3 bad. Like there's some far worse movies
oh
out
shit,
there.
that was bad. Holy crap, that was a movie of all time right there.
Ooh, that was certainly a movie that existed in our time period.
So
no, like there's worse MCU films out there, but this is definitely on like the bottom end of the list. Like once you get past like the really, really bad ones, this is somewhere floating in the middle.
It's like lower middle of the pack. I'll be honest here, I think people are a little bit, I'm saying over-hating. There's way worse MCU movies than this. I've seen bigger travesties than this in the MCU. Like Ant-Man the Wasp. Ant-Man the Wasp is trash. And its sequel sucks balls. Those are bad movies. Thor the Dark World stinks. Eternal stinks. Far From Home stinks.
Oh yeah, Thor the Dark World. That's
Thor the Dark World. Holy shit, that was a doozy there.
Iron
Man 2.
Now here's the real question. Here's the real question. What is the worst movie? Is it Eternals still number one, or is it the Marvels?
I never saw the Marvels, and I never saw Black Panther 2 either, or Guardians 3. Those are the only 3 I haven't seen. I'm always going to put Eternals. Eternals is dog shit from top to bottom. It's just trash. The next one is maybe
the Eternals is really, really bad. The only movie that can give it a run for its money is the Marvels.
Far From Home, if you guys, no one will ever rewatch Far From Home is literally the most useless Spider-Man movie ever made possible.
They completely fumbled Jake Gyllenhaal in the MCU.
Right?
Why was he even there?
Oh my god! There's no way this movie's worse than Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder is trash. That's second worst. That's second worst.
That's way worse.
Bad. So yeah, that's my thing. People saying this is the worst MCU. Guys, that's honestly overreacting. There's way worse than this. If you really think about it, there's way worse. But that doesn't make this better. I'm just saying there's a lot worse. We could have had a travesty on our hands. But Cyfax, what is your closing thoughts on the movie?
I don't think it's worth people's money. Don't go see it if you're going to watch it. Wait for it to come out on streaming.
Or you can go to Raider Bay and go find a movie there.
Or
in One Piece land.
I have a whole lot of websites that you can sell that.
Oh, sit right down and hear a tale of lucky.
Exactly.
123movies.com. Oh, sorry, I just blurred that out. But yeah, as you guys know, for me, go ahead.
No, just real quick. Like,
I almost did it.
I think one of the biggest things is like, people wanted to see a movie where you could justify this character becoming Captain America, and I don't think this movie did it. I don't think it did it at all. And as much as even we were saying, it's like we don't hate Anthony Mackie. He's fine, but he's fine as like not a leading man in a movie or sometimes even TV shows. The only one I can even think about that he was decent in as like kind of the leading character was Twisted Metal, and then that one's just okay. And if okay is the best you got on a TV show, it doesn't need to be in a goddamn movie, and so he doesn't do it there. He's not doing it here. If you're expecting to be convinced that this is your new Captain America, and it does it for you, I mean, I guess good job for having such low fucking standards, but it didn't do it for me, and I don't think it's done it for a lot of people. So that's it.
Yeah,
he basically just said congratulations for being a freaking loser.
Yeah, exactly.
he does that pretentious thing where he's like, you know what, the movies that I like are so good, but if you like something different than me, you're a fucking loser. Ah, God, He doesn't say that, but that's the intention behind it.
Is that what I said? I didn't say that at all.
I heard him say, "I can't imagine being as dumb as you." I'm probably running the oncoming
He
traffic.
basically is using that Michael Bay thing where people go, "Well, you just like Michael Bay movies because you like action." That's basically what he just said
Dude,
there.
you know it's crazy, man. Like all I do is blue collar fucking garbage work, what kind of shit, man. And so if people are dumb enough to believe and see what the fuck they're seeing out there, and they have the opinions to I don't know, try to attack certain things that I'm criticizing, and they're still fucking wrong, I'm like, shit, man. Technically, by I don't know levels of work out there or whatever, it's like I should be technically retarded. How are you stupider than I am? Like I don't get that. Like so that's what I'm criticizing.
IQ, so I'm good.
Yeah, but you're like 200 IQ above what? Like a lunch lady? Like what the fuck?
Oh, whoa. I'm not Shikamaru from Naruto. I'm literally a genius. But nevertheless, okay.
Yeah, you're licking the plates. We get it.
So for me,
right, as Ron White once said, "I'm smart. You just can't prove it on paper."
Cinema. As I said, fucking hell. What was I gonna say? Oh my god, I'm gonna bang my wife. Just joking. So, just like I said in my tweet after I got done watching this movie, directors directed, actors acted, action happened, and the plot moved forward. Literally, truly one of the most MCU movies of all time. Now, I'll just go over the final things I'll say before we close out of this video, which is I don't think this is the worst MCU movie. It's not the best. It's not good. It's just aggressively, as the kids say nowadays, it's just aggressively mid, in my opinion. There's way worse here. But now, I will always say this, as I said at the beginning part of the video. If you want to watch it for yourself, I always say go watch it for yourself, And if it comes out on digital, you can watch it for yourself then, because people will be like, well, I'm going to the movies. It's too expensive now. Guys, blockbusters come out 3 weeks after or like 4 weeks after they're in the theaters. There's literally no excuse, honestly. If you just don't want to watch, you just don't want to watch. You don't got to fucking fake it like you can't see it. But I would always say go watch it for yourself. That's my opinion. Just because you might like a reviewer's opinion does not mean you'll feel the same way. Movies are all experiences for people. And you might feel the same way as that reviewer, but at least you'll know why you don't like it. That's the difference there. Or you like it. Either way, right? The MCU definitely has a leading man material problem. They have no Michael Jordan. They have no Kobe Bryant right now. It just
they did have a Michael B. Jordan, and then he died.
He's doing the puns. He's doing the puns. I can't do it, man. I'm just saying the MCU tried to lead on a black man, and then he got in trouble for hitting a white woman. You can't make this up. You literally can't make this up. I knew that was going to happen if they hire a black person. I knew they're going to get in trouble.
In the city of Rick James, no less.
In New York, man. Oh, my God, man. Oh, God. So you guys know I don't really give ratings here. I'm just going to call it's a middle-of-the-pack MCU movie. I would say bottom middle-of-the-pack MCU movie. That's where I kind of put it at. But yeah, as Sci-Fax said in his closing statement, this is supposed to be the movie, ultimately at the end of the day, that's supposed to convince you that Sam Wilson is Captain America. It didn't really do that for me either. It's just like, okay, he's just kind of cosplaying as Captain America is the best way I can kind of put it. The whole movie's revealed in the trailers, which I fucking can't stand that shit. Whole movie's in the trailers. The acts are jumbled. The expositional dialogue is so boring sometimes. There's no like superhero moment here. There's stuff I liked here, but whatever, we rewatch this again. Like if I literally were to rewatch scenes on YouTube when it dropped, I probably wouldn't. Not really anything here to rewatch. Honestly, I feel like the actors in it are misused. They just don't get enough screen time, and they're just misused of all the talent they have. So yeah, hopefully Thunderbolts is better, because we know the MCU is not making any good TV shows anytime soon. I mean, maybe hopefully Daredevil's good, but who the fuck knows about that? So yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace.